Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to a Sunday Drive, which is an audio podcast where I play Need for Speed Most Wanted You, and in November, Need for Speed Rivals for the PS4. So today, there's some interesting things that have happened. Lately, while there hasn't been Sunday Drives, is because, well, nothing really interesting happened in my life. It's not like I really go anywhere. I edit videos, and that's pretty much it. So, aside from the games that I've been playing... Oh wow, this is an interesting glitch. Hopefully it'll... There it goes, it corrects itself. Thank you. Not all that much has been happening. The only big thing that has been going on that I haven't really been able to talk to people about is I did a special thing for Rayman Legends. I was asked to do stuff with Ubisoft, and we did a full walkthrough. Well, I call it a full walkthrough. We did all the way through the main story, and if a certain video gets 1,000 likes, the ending video, then we will continue playing Rayman Legends. Unfortunately, we have a really cool game I've been looking forward to that starts this week, so I wanted to put all my attention onto that game, which is the Wonderful 101. And I just didn't want to deal with other games that would be distracting me, because that's going to be my full series. But I really appreciate that Ubisoft was able to get me the game 2 weeks early. I was able to get a review done and the walkthrough, and it was so much fun to play, and we had a blast. And the other big thing that's happening is I am actually switching networks for the first time in 3 years. I've been with Maker Studios or the Game Station for a very, very long time. I got into the network thanks to my very good friend Total Biscuit, aka John Bain, or whatever he goes by these days. That's British superstar commentator, #1 PC game commentator on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Total Biscuit. Yes, that Total Biscuit. He got me on the Game Station in 2010, right when we were in talks to be a part of WoW Radio, which was actually Total Biscuit's collab radio project online for World of Warcraft and other stuff. My radio podcast called Game Nights with Swag Show was going to be brought onto WoW Radio, and had WoW Radio not ceased functioning, who knows where I would be today. Maybe I'd be just as popular as Total Biscuit, or still this kind of unknown guy with his wife. I don't really know. But everything has a way of working out, and this new network is actually going to give me a ton of voiceover opportunities, which I have been wanting to be a voice actor my entire life. So that's going to be really cool. They are also going to help me with licenses for things like Cartoon All-Stars and other projects that I want to work on that the Game Station has basically said I'm on my own. And the reason I had to stop Cartoon All-Stars is I didn't have the license. And believe it or not, it's a big difference covering media that is outside of games. Game media, the licenses are a lot easier to obtain for networks and other things like that. Also, members of the press are able to get certain things when you do reviews for stuff, and there's not this huge, what's the word am I looking for? They don't come down as hard, even if you don't do a favorable review. As long as you're not like insulting the company, you shouldn't have any problems, like legally or anything like that. You don't have to worry about staining their brand or anything like that. But if you do a review on a TV show or cartoon or movie and you use footage from the film, you have to be conscious of spoilers. There's certain aspects that you're not allowed to show, which, I mean, people who do videos on Grand Theft Auto and some of the Assassin's Creed games are aware of certain NDAs and things like that, where you're not allowed to show certain parts of the game. Even Ubisoft does it as well. There's something going on with Watch Dogs, from what I hear right now. And I believe Warner Brothers doesn't want a certain part of the game shown in the review for Arkham Origins or Blackgate, I forget which one. But with doing animation, which is something I've been a huge fan of, I love watching anime, I love watching cartoons, and to be able to actually have a network able to support me with that, and even though this is a smaller network, they have the licenses. They can get licenses for music. They have a much broader reach than what Game Station kind of put themselves into. So, yeah, I mean, they won't be able to get people free games or anything like that, and it's a very small network. I think there's only about 28 of us, something like that. But we pull in a good number of video views, so everything's going to be cool with that. And who knows, you might even see this channel grow into 1 million views in 2 years, like a million subscribers, and that'd be pretty interesting. They also plan on, we've been talking with YouTube, and those of you that have been on my channel for a very long time, you'll know that I have this monster glitch where even though I have 100,000 subscribers, you guys don't get my videos. None of you have ever gotten my videos, so most of you follow my social things on like a Nook and Facebook, Twitter. I don't really have an Instagram, but forum sites like GameFAQs and things like that. So when I post a video, I'm very gracious that you guys, you know, you go and you do that stuff, because that's how the videos end up getting seen. Because the sub box, it tells you a video released in 2011 or not at all, and less people have been watching my videos and things like that. And it's actually a very easy thing to correct. It's not a coding error or anything like that. They're going to end up doing some kind of technical thing that I can't talk about because I don't want other people to know about it. And my sub box will basically, it'll be like Mr. Resetti. You turn it off and somehow it just goes back to normal. And I'm going to be very excited about that, because I may have talked about this before, and those of you that watch Sunday Drive, you know I like to just talk about how I'm feeling and things like that. But it's going to be a huge relief for me when I actually post a review. I won't have to do it like the week the game comes out or a week before or whatever, and just have it get like terrible views for a channel as big as mine, or supposedly as big as mine. It is not necessarily an ego killer, but as an artist, when I do a review and nobody watches it, it hurts, because you invested all that time into it and it just gets lost on YouTube. And that's the reason why Retro Mondays and a lot of these other shows got canceled, is because 72 hours for a few thousand views isn't worth it. It just wasn't, and that's about the average time it was to put a review together. But now, because of the new network, reviews are coming back. In fact, this new network is actually working with me to do certain games and also do some retro games and more handheld stuff. I collected a bunch of 3DS games this year, and we'll be doing a lot of fun things. We'll also be working more with vlogs and things like that. I'm very happy. I found out that my channel, believe it or not, is actually more popular than JonTron. When you look at the data, my channel is in the top 500 all of YouTube, and I also have a much higher CPM than he does, which CPM is basically cost per whatever, views per minute or something like that. So there's so many exciting things that this new place told me that I didn't even know about, and I have nothing against my former employers or anything like that, but it just felt like I was treated like a second-class citizen, basically. Like, I was never invited to the cliques or anything like that, and, you know, whatever they want to do. I never had cliques in high school either, so, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. It's just that networks are all cliques, and this new one isn't. It's about basically being an agent. If there's a voiceover opportunity for an anime or a video game or whatever, I'll be able to find about it and go and audition, and there's so many things that I have coming out that I'm just so excited, and I just really wanted to share with you guys, because I've been very quiet on certain things. Basically, the NDA on this new place is lifted, and I'll be leaving very shortly. So it's a very exciting time in my life, where I know I sound so thrilled about it. In all honesty, I'm so tired. I just finished watching an anime on my downtime last night. It was not called Bakugan, by the way. It was called Bakuman. And Bakuman was an anime based on a manga, based on drawing manga, kind of like, think like the NHK or Comic Party Revolution, something like that, where you have these guys in junior high, they don't know what they're going to do with their life. They have to go and do some exams so they can get into high school. And in Japan, you have to take exams to find out the type of high school you're going to go to. They have less homework and just more tests and things like that. So while they're deciding what type of high school they want to go to, whether a very high school so they can get into a really big college like Harvard or something, or a minimal high school so they can get into a tech school or whatever it is they want to do, the head of the class comes to this guy, Masahiro, I believe his name is, about becoming a manga artist. And this guy is the top person in the class. He's somebody that you would think isn't an otaku or anything like that, and he's this massive manga fan. And he's a brilliant writer. The guy could be a novelist or whatever. And he teams up with this kid with blue hair, because everybody in anime has blue hair. Strong bad reference. But they get together, they start writing things, and they actually create their pen name based on a dream. And the dream is for the blue-haired guy to marry the girl that he's had a crush on. But in order for their dreams to come true, what needs to happen is he has to be a serialized manga, which means a weekly thing in like Shonen Jump or something like that. Paid manga professional. Second, he also has to have an anime, and she needs to be the voice actress voicing the heroine in his anime. Only then can they get married. Now, the thing that I found weird about this anime, and also endearing at the same time, is the boy and girl hardly ever see each other. When he has like some kind of appendicitis or like ulcer, something that involved him needing surgery for 3 months, she comes and stays with him in the hospital and like bakes some cookies or whatever and just sits by his side the whole time. Sometimes they hold hands or whatever, but it's like a very sweet romance where there was nothing like adult about it whatsoever. It was just innocent, and it was wonderful. It reminded me of my courtship, actually. Although Amber and I saw each other more than once a year, we saw each other every day. We just weren't very physical, like out in the open or anything like that. In fact, we didn't have our first kiss until her, I believe it was the 19th or 20th birthday. So we took things very, very slow. Just hand-holding and the occasional hug and things like that. And that's basically what this anime was. It was 75 episodes long. There was only 11 episodes, I believe, that ever got dubbed. And what happened is that anime studio in the US ended up closing down. And currently Viz Media is trying to get the license to air the episodes in subtitle. They have no plans on dubbing it, which is a shame. Excuse me, a little reflex there. It's a shame that they're not going to dub it, but at the same time, I watched the entire series in Japanese with English subs, and I liked it. It wasn't... I've been getting used to watching a lot of subbed anime because of all the Korean dramedies I've watched, so it wasn't that big a deal. I enjoyed it, so... Ooh, is this a new car? No. It's a car I already had. Where was I? But basically, 75 episodes. The series ends with them fulfilling their dreams, and he picks her up, and she said, like, in the second season, that if they ever met again in person, that she would kiss him. And he forgot about that, so that's how she actually accepts his wedding proposal, which was basically just shouting at the girl because he was so nervous. And you know what happens in animes when guys are nervous. Their face turns red, they stammer, they sweat. It's funny. And usually the girl is very composed and just is like, okay, I'll marry you. I like those type of like slice of life comedies. And I actually wrote something on my Facebook after I saw the final episode on this sub-site. And I got all teary-eyed a little bit, but it was wonderful, and now I have nothing to watch, so I'm sad, so it's back to work. And because of my new place that I'm going to, I've been inspired to actually write. I've been encouraged to write again, so I have a bunch of scripts for reviews that I've been writing. I'm not ready to start editing them yet, but all the games that I played in the summer, from Resident Evil Revelations to that pinball game, and pretty much every game that you saw me post on my Twitter, except for like classic games or PS3 games that I bought, I have scripts that I started writing for. I've been this flood of creativity at the moment, and I just feel like I'm on cloud 9. And like I said before, I wouldn't have these type of opportunities because I wasn't seen as an important channel like Game Grumps or whatever, and never given the opportunity to grow. And even somebody like Smooth McGroove, I actually discovered the guy. And I favorited one of his videos, and the rest of the game station saw it, and they did a massive promotion on him. Now, I never had that happen, ever. I was with them for 3 years, and they never did this massive blitz for subscribers for me. Total Biscuit did some stuff early on, and I'm very thankful for that, because some of his early audience is still K-Wing fans, and that gives me warm fuzzies all around. Plus, John's fan base is more intelligent than somebody like Game Grumps or something like that. So I prefer having intelligent viewers than people that just, you know, watch whatever they do in post. And yeah, I mean, some of this, I have some things that I'm not thrilled about, but you can't really do anything about that. It's a very small business that we're in. Machinima, GameStation, Mahlo, all those networks, they all operate pretty much the same way. And if you really want to get into like the YouTube business, I always start small. That's the best thing. You want to start with a small network, small, you know, CPM or whatever it's called, and just, you know, do your best every single day, and more opportunities will come. You know, I never terminated one of my contracts with any company I've ever been with, GameZone, almost IGN, and all these other places. I work very hard for every company that I'm a part of, and I put my heart and soul into it. When I worked at GameZone, I did 50 reviews in less than a year. Usually my record of reviews... Oh, also guides. I did a full guide of Monster Hunter and Final Fantasy 13, and I believe... I'm trying to think of the other game I did. Might have been... I'm pretty sure I did a boss... No, the boss guide for Metroid they didn't accept that, but I did actually do a full walkthrough on Metroid the Other M, but they didn't pay me for it, so I couldn't publish it. I can't really tell you how much I was being made for reviews, but it was less than minimum wage when I worked there. It was way less, and I was so excited to finally be paid for my work that I somehow managed to dish out like 50 videos. 50 videos that were accepted. I did about 70 videos from March until October of 2010. I believe my last review for them was the Batman Brave and the Bold and Metroid Other M, or something like that. But I still have a great working relationship with people over at GameZone. Most of my former bosses now work at publications and other things. Some of them are even game developers, which is always funny that all my writer friends, like people at IGN, Craig Harris went to Sega, and he always wanted to work at Nintendo, but he's so happy over at Sega. And I've only had the chance to talk to him like once or twice. The guy was like one of my idols, and Matt Kasama from IGN, he went somewhere else, and everybody that I grew up like inspiring me to become a writer and a journalist and all this other stuff, they've all ended up working in the game industry, and I think that's just utterly fantastic. I don't know if I have that same dream though. I really want to become a voice actor. Ever since I was a little kid, that was my dream, to be like a really cool voice like Hiro Yui or Dual Maxwell in Gundam Wing, or Ryo the Wildfire in Ronin Warriors. You know, something so cool. Maybe even like somebody in the new Voltron, or if they ever did a animated Power Rangers or something. You know, those type of characters last forever. The YouTube thing, I don't see it as something that's forever. I see it as something that it's around right now, but politics and you know, the anti-religious stuff that ends up being on YouTube is eventually just going to make this not a free place anymore. Right now people can say whatever they want, and you know, people somewhat respect them for their opinion, but it's not really becoming like that. There are certain things on YouTube that you're not allowed to say, and it's not really as open as it used to be. So you'll see a lot less people like me and other things, other than if they share the same views as you do. And it's a shame that it's becoming like that, but that's how the world is becoming these days. Certain things are interpreted as hate crimes, and there is no free speech anymore, and that's a problem. But I really hope, my goal is by the time I'm 35 or 40 to either be living in South Korea or to be a voice actor in Canada or something like that. And we'll see how it goes. I really want to. My main goal in life was always to get married and have children, and that's something that I've been working at a lot, and it just never really happened yet. And that's all in the Lord's time anyway, but that was always my dream, and my secondary dream was to get into voice acting. I did broadcasting when I was in college. I did the radio thing. Wasn't particularly fond of it though, because I actually, believe it or not, had stage fright. And to help with my broadcasting, I was one of those dreaded telemarketers, which I remember one of my first days at the job as a telemarketer, I was calling people because I was a collector. And this lady was giving me her sob story, and I believed her. And I actually got fired that day because apparently that lady owed, I believe it was about like $500,000. And I canceled her debt, or tried to. I don't think that happened, but it was pretty bad. And the week before, when I was in training, I would always stammer on the phone because I would be intimidated. Like, I would be like, oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel and I do all this other stuff, but the YouTube channel, it's all pre-recorded. It's not like I'm doing it live. Even if I was doing things live, it would be difficult. I don't know if any of you remember the Game Nights podcast when it was a live show on iTunes or wherever it was, but I used to have so many problems. I'd be very quiet. There's something about when you're on the air, like live, that's just horrifying. I was never able to do it. Originally, Total Biscuit wanted to do, this is why we can't have nice things live, like on a Twitch thing or a streaming, and I'm so thankful he didn't. But the Game Station podcast was always a challenge for me because it was live. And I would never look at the webcam or the comments when I was on there because I couldn't do it. I would just, same thing when I was on the radio. I would never answer people's requests or anything like that. It would go to the person who was in the booth next to me. Think of kind of like a Roz character. And they would tell me and then be like, all right, well, so-and-so's requested this song, which is going to come at you at the top of the hour. And I would do that because I couldn't do it. How I'm actually going to do voice acting, I have no idea. I'm going to look into things over the next couple of years. Hopefully it will never be a live show. But thanks to Maker Studios and Game Zone and Got Game, who gave me my start as a journalist, I've slowly started to overcome my fear of stage fright, I guess it is, like when it comes to talking to people. So we'll see how the future goes. If you remember some of my first episodes of interviews with game developers and things like that, I looked like deer in the headlights. I was so horrified to talk to them. But over the years that I've been doing these interviews at PAX and going to New York City and all this other stuff, I've started to get comfortable in my own skin, and I can do the interviews pretty decent now. So, getting into a vocal booth or doing all this other stuff in a couple years, whatever happens, I would like to actually build my own studio. That way I could just have the jobs here and just have all the professional equipment. And I know there are voice actors that do that. I just, I have to do some other stuff. Because just standing in a booth with my anxiety issues and meeting people is always hard. So we'll see how that goes. But the fact that I have these opportunities available to me, like, eventually, is something that it was too much of an offer to pass up. And I don't know how promotion-wise, I mean, one thing I like about, if I don't want to promote people, I don't have to. And there's so many things involved with this smaller place that just makes me feel more comfortable as a creator. It doesn't feel like, okay, I have to play this game to be relevant, I have to do this in order to get promoted. I'm going up against like 50 other guys reviewing the same game on the same network, and it's not like that anymore. Like, it's gonna feel very similar to 2008 and 2009 YouTube creation for me. And I'm so full of ideas. I've been looking at a lot of retro games again. I really want to bring Retro Mondays back. That was one of the things that the new place talked to me about. They were a big fan of Retro Mondays. The guy actually who found me, or the CEO or whatever, he has one of my reviews from a long time ago in his YouTube favorites still. And that's how he actually found me years ago. He became a fan, and then when he was ready to start his network, he gave me a call, basically. So, I mean, the longer you're in this business, you'd be surprised what happens. Yuri of the Wind, Cobra Manny, Peanut Butter Gamer, all these kids grew up watching me, and look where they are now. Peanut Butter Gamer and Yuri of the Wind, I got into the Game Station Cobra Manny's taken off with Machinima. Even Blitzwinger was a kid who was inspired by me, and look at how successful they are. And I'm just thankful that all these kids that are doing this now, with the exception to Yuri, who, you know, Yuri likes to be a little loose with his language, but the other guys, they've been, you know, a great legacy for me, because they've pretty much stuck to what I did. And that to me shows that, you know, what I did really encouraged people. And I'm not retiring or anything like that. I'm several years away from retiring. But when I start other jobs and things like that, and you actually see me on television or more in magazines and things like that, I did this thing with Game Informer recently that I'm just waiting for that article to publish. And, you know, there's a lot of things that I've been doing behind the scenes that have just been so busy. But I really appreciate all your guys' support. It's been a total blessing these past 3 years. I got a beautiful house. My wife is very happy. We have that beautiful cat that ended up nearly destroying our Disney Infinity series a few days ago, which I'm sure you guys saw that posted a few days ago. It was pretty funny when she knocked over the thing. But you know, looking how everything started, and a guy who had like really bad depression and some other things, and you know, he was told in school they would never amount to anything because of his disabilities. It's just amazing what you can do when you really work hard. And you know, I'm humbled with what has happened in my life, and you know, I'm looking forward to what's going to happen in the next 5 years. But anyway, gamers, that's going to wrap up this Sunday drive. Nothing really major has really been going on. I just wanted to speak to you from the heart today. I'm sorry that there hasn't been a lot of Sunday drives. Like I said, I don't really go out much. I have the idea of starting to do some comic book and action figure reviews, because I am a collector. And this new place is encouraging me to do whatever I want to do, not just video games or whatever, so you never know. I got some really cool action figures and things for my collection that I can't wait to show you guys, whether in vlogs or whatever. But thank you so much for watching my videos. Those of you that are really trying very hard to see our content, like on Facebook and Twitter and Anook, you guys rock. I really appreciate it. Those of you that are subscribed and you're not able to see the videos, hopefully we can get that resolved by December, and things will be a lot different than we're all used to, but I'm very much looking forward to it. God bless and happy gaming, each and every one of you. Thank you again for watching Sunday Drive. I look forward to playing this series again, and also don't forget to check out the Let's Play channel this week for the wonderful 101. Until we meet again, gamers, see ya!